Good evening, everybody. This is Alex with Underground Noise. Webisode number 14. Hit that subscribe button. It'd be nice if you did. I'm here with Anthony Trapani, the vocalist from Severed Savior and also Odious Mortem. What's up, Anthony? How you doing tonight, bro?
Good, man. Like I was telling you, just got off work and I got a quiet house now. Wife and kids are out and about getting school stuff together and all that shit. So I got some quiet time right now.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, dude.
First off, I would like to ask you, Anthony, who are your musical influences?
Musical influences. I mean, I have a lot. As far as like death metal vocals, there are influences, but like just what got me into music in general was actually hip hop. I was into rap and hip hop growing up. It was played prominently in my hometown. You know, a lot of artists were coming out of San Francisco, Sacramento area, and all that stuff was leaking down into the Bay Area and made me, you know, fall in love with the style. That was the first time I fell in love with a style of music. And then went through that, still listen to a lot of that today, you know, not as much as I used to, obviously, but there's so much more stuff that I listen to. It's like, but influences for death metal, I honestly would say that you know, hearing George Fisher on Cannibal, all those Cannibal records that he did it, as well as Chris Barnes Cannibal records, Frank Mullen, Suffocation. Yeah, there's tons, dude. I mean, it really is just, as a vocalist, you know, you can't just put it on the vocals too, because you love the music. So it's an influence in a sense of just wanting to create and make music with somebody. There's that list is endless, dude, you know?
Right.
But yeah, you know, hearing a guy fucking growl, you know, good, and then you're like, oh, I want to do that. It's definitely those three dudes. Steve Tucker, Morbid Angel. I like David Vincent, but Steve Tucker was like the era. Gateways was when I first was introduced to Morbid Angel. So, and his vocals are pummeling on that album.
That is an epic album for sure.
Yeah, great. It's a nice midway point to start out with Morbid too, because then you got plenty to dig on behind that, and then going forward with them from there was, yeah, Morbid's morbid, dude.
Right on.
Well, there's a couple albums where they're not very morbid, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, Blessed or the Sick is one of my favorites.
Hell yeah. Yeah, dude. All that early shit's just as good. Formulas gets me every time I listen to it. Covenant, Dominate, they're all great, dude.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Do you remember that show that you guys put on back in 2006 with Decrepit Birth and Deeds of Flesh, July 31st at the Penny Arcade in Rochester, New York?
Penny Arcade in Rochester, New York. Yep, I do remember that show. We showed up very early and hacky sacked a bunch.
I remember seeing you guys doing that too, because
yeah,
I put your band sticker on my forehead, and you're just like, "Hey, dude, where'd your sticker go? Put that back on your forehead." I'm like, "It's too sweaty in here, dude."
Yeah, you know, it's like going on the road, and I haven't done it as much as most of my friends. You know, even the guys in Odious have toured more than I have because getting the Decrepit gig. But still, even 30 days out on the road, it all kind of blends together. But I do remember there's a couple of billiard tables in there too. Was it like in the front? And then you walk past the billiards. Yeah, I do remember that spot. It's a fairly good turnout. Was that a weekday show?
I'm not sure exactly what day of the week it was, but I do have the poster.
Sick, dude. Hell yeah.
It's autographed by Eric Lindmark, Mike Hamilton, and also Jacoby Kingston.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
And there's Decrepit Burst set list.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. This poster is 15 years old, dude.
That's good. You kept it fucking intact, dude.
Yeah, I had no choice. I said, hey, that's going to be probably worth money someday.
Yeah. So what was your experience of that show? How early were you, or how deep were you into the tech death scene and all that stuff when you went to see that?
I really enjoyed it a lot because you guys played Golden Excretion.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's a fun one. I love doing those old Devouring the Prophecy songs, dude, because that I was a fan when that album came out. So being able to jump on the mic and actually do those songs with them, and actually kind of put my flair in there a little bit, that was a really fun time. I'd love to get Odious back together. It's just we're all spread out so much now,
Yeah.
all up and down California. So it's become just like a studio, friends still together, loving to make music together. And if the stars align, there could be some live stuff again, but then again, we'd have to get everybody together and get the rehearsals in. We're not going to rehearse twice and then go out in there and try and do a festival gig or some shit like that. But that was a fun time, dude. That tour really I felt like I leveled up on that tour because I really got to feel what it was like to be out on the road and stuffed in a van with 5-6 other guys, and shit's everywhere. We stuffed all of our stuff, even Casey's drums, into a 15-passenger E-Series van with the back seat taken out. We had no trailer, so it was literally filled Tetris style all the way to the ceiling, so you couldn't see out the back of the van. In between all the seats were bags and everybody else's shit. There was nowhere to actually, we had to like crawl all over people's shit to get in and out of the van because we needed all the storage space, dude. We even had to we had bags up against the doors that we'd have to move so people could even get out of the van. That thing fucking tumbled, dude. We would have fucking definitely been fucked up by all the shrapnel and shit that would have been flying around in that van, dude.
It's a good thing you guys didn't topple it over,
Yeah,
Otherwise,
but it's also it's an experience that tells you whether or not you can, continue in a band together. And Odious was a band that actually really got along that whole entire month. I mean, obviously people get, irritated and pissy if they don't get enough sleep or it's their fucking turn to drive when they're fucking tired. Like all that kind of shit's always going to be there. We're always human. But in the end of it, like still looking at each other as brothers and wanting to continue, it's like a, it's just a test of friendship and being able to be in a band,
Absolutely. My band members, they live in Kentucky and I'm here in Georgia.
Yeah.
So
I know, dude, being spread out, the internet makes it good to where a lot of creatives can link up, and get things done. But that whole being in person atmosphere is actually something that I miss, jamming in the studio, getting fucking down with everybody,
Right. So with Odious Mortem, what song would you find the most difficult?
The most difficult song. Well, I've never performed the Synesthesia songs live, so I couldn't tell you which one of those gets to me live, but off Cryptic for sure, it would be Fragmented Oblivion, the first track off that album. There's a lot of vocals in that album, and that's an extra long Odious song, so there's even more vocals and there's fast vocals, and it's a lot, so doing that one live is tricky. Pull it off, but it's still like there's times where I'm like, where am I gonna fucking breathe,
Yeah.
And then the early Odious stuff would be difficult. Like there's difficult songs on that Devouring album in a sense of like timing when the vocals come in. There's some parts where you have to count weird numbers, and sometimes you're following the guitar and sometimes you're following the drums. So it's kind of like a whirlwind situation, not necessarily taking a lot out of me to do the vocals, but it's more of a mind thing, like staying in the pockets that I'm supposed to be in.
I can dig that.
Yeah.
When you were growing up as a child, did you play any instruments?
I played piano for a little bit, and I probably talked about it on the podcast once or twice, but I regretted, quitting. Everybody says it's boring when you start at 6 or 5. It's always boring, but you got to push through that. And I didn't push through the boring aspect. I played piano for about a year and a half, and I was you know, I had the skills, but it was just not, it wasn't exciting me. So I ended up stopping and playing sports and all that shit. But I, you know, throughout the years have, you know, later on getting back into music or getting into like the band situation, because I, like I said, I was doing hip hop before this, so that I could do that by myself. But being with other band members in a jam setting and seeing these guys play their instruments made me want to actually get an acoustic guitar and learn some chords and shit, so I can fuck around on an acoustic. I could jam out a little bit on the drums, but I don't have any of that stuff. I have a guitar, but I don't have a drum set or anything. But it's always fun to sit down on somebody else's kit and jam out a quick 4-4-1-2-3-4 type shit. You know, I'm obviously not going to be blast beating or thrashing around.
Yeah, I tried to do a blast beat one time and I said, okay, drums don't work for me, bass doesn't work for me, guitar kind of works with me, but my vocals where it's at nowadays.
I would say that the times that when I was in Carnivorous and sharing Troy Fullerton on drums, that was how I met up with Severed. We shared a rehearsal studio together, and Troy would always let us play his drums. So there'd be times where Troy wasn't even there, and Dusty would be on guitar and vocals, Kenny would be playing bass, and I'd be on drums, and we'd be trying to play some fucking early shit. I forget what songs we were trying to cover, but in that little chunk of time, I actually was able to be able to do a consistent blast, not as fast as anybody else that I know, but enough to where I was like, oh, this is actually consistent and I can sustain it for a little bit. And, you know, double bass drum beats are always fun, dude. You just feel like you're fucking a caveman. Just those are fun. But it's like, yeah, I probably, if you gave me some time, I could probably bust out a blast beat for like 8 beats.
If there would be 1 or 2 dead musicians that you could bring back, who would it be?
Oh, man. Off the top of my head right now, just because I was just listening to him, it's actually not a metal musician. He's a rapper. His name's Idea, and he's from the Minneapolis area, and he passed away a few years ago, maybe more. And his poetry is some very, very awesome shit, dude. And he was a great performer, great dude. I met him, and it was just one of those kind of, you know, dying in your sleep thing as a young dude. So you don't know what the backstory is on that, but I just know he was a good person. Everybody thought he was cool, and his art was fucking awesome. So I would definitely bring back Idea, because I think he was still, you know, not at his full potential yet. And he won like every freestyle rap battle in the country still in high school, you know?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's really known as a battle rapping, freestyling rapper, but he could write dope rhymes too, and really, really go deep within himself. If you listen to his records, he's definitely a big mind. And yeah, so he passed away. I'd bring him back.
That out.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people that have passed, you know. It's like I wouldn't want to just pick 2. I wish I could have the power to bring them all back, so we could all be fucking going to their shows and fucking still seeing them put out music, you know?
Absolutely.
It'd be a great fucking thing to see Dimebag come back, you know, Vinny.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like all the if you were able to do that for like one giant festival, that would be fucking sick, dude. Like, we got the power to bring them back for like 1 week. We're gonna
have
fucking
1,000 bands.
Yeah, if you're ready to
excuse me. Yeah,
you're ready to do this for a week straight, dude. We're gonna fucking keep throwing all these. Jimi Hendrix is back, fucking Janis Joplin. It's like, that would be insane, dude.
it would be totally insane.
It would be the best.
I'm with you on that one for sure.
What if they had to, but what if they're like, they come back, but they all look like they do now. So most of them are like decomposing bodies and skeletons and shit, but they're still wailing on the guitar. It's like a Pirates of the Caribbean 6 where they're all fucking playing music.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, dude.
Trying to think of some more questions for you. Is there anywhere in the world that you haven't toured that you've always wanted to see?
Well, yeah, there's a lot, dude. I mean, Europe always sounds amazing. Japan would be rad. Indonesia sounds like it would be fucking insane. Australia. I mean, anywhere that I would want to go as a tourist, basically.
Hmm.
I'd like to play there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, South America. There's tons of places. Hawaii. That'd be cool to do. I don't know how the death metal scene is out in Hawaii, but I'd love to just have an excuse to go play a show out there.
I'll have to look into that as well, see if there's
I'm
any.
sure there's yeah, I never even thought to like search Hawaiian death metal bands, like if there's any, bands that are actually kind of making a name for themselves online that are based in Hawaii, playing brutal death metal or tech death or even thrashing,
Yeah, even Alaska too.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
I tripped out several years ago finding out that there's like a metal scene out in like Congo and shit. There's on MySpace, I remember becoming friends with a band that was from the Congo, and it was a death metal band. You're like, oh shit, I didn't even know that was a thing out there.
Huh.
But I guess death metal spreads through the veins of the earth, dude.
Yeah, this band right here that I'm wearing, a Bad and Incarnate, they're from Ireland.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but I've got their album called The Last Supper.
Okay. No, I'm not familiar with them, but sick, dude. So is it like straight up death metal? What kind of shit is it?
Brutal death metal.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's pretty incredible. And that
Yeah,
album's off of Season of Mist Records.
Oh, okay. Good record label.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually they resurrected some bands within the last 10 or not resurrected, but like some bands ended up losing their contracts, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, Season of Mist picked them up. Season of Mist picked them up. So they made it like a resurgence for their record label too, because Season of Mist was like, wasn't it more like what did it start out? Where's it based, and weren't they putting out more like black metal shit?
Yeah, for one time they were what I remember is they're out of France.
Okay.
And they have bands like Defiled, Abad and Incarnate. Those are the only two that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Defiled's Japan, right?
Yeah, as far as I know. In fact,
yeah,
Defiled. My CD's all the way at the bottom here, but I know this may not be a Season of Mist record as Metal Blade, but to Flesh, that's as close as I can get for it now.
Nice.
But yeah, I got like close to 700 CDs in my collection.
Nice, dude. Yeah, I definitely got quite a bit of CDs, dude. I stayed with the physical stuff. I mean, I have digital stuff too, but I just started collecting those so early in my life, dude. And it's totally like a nostalgia thing, having the physical copy, the booklet. It's just like something that it's still exciting, but it was something that I was like really excited about in my late teens, early 20s, was just fucking getting as many fucking CDs at Amoeba, Streetlight, Rasputin, all these awesome record stores that actually had people that knew what was up with music and would order the right shit, and plenty of used CD sections that you could find gems just hiding in between. It's like for $5. Well, I got a lethargy. It's Hard to Write with Small Hands record for $5 at Rasputin in Berkeley, and I immediately went online. You couldn't even find it, and then it finally pops up like 2 years later. People are trying to get like $500 for the CD, dude.
Wow.
Because it's former members, or not former members. The guitar player and drummer ended up going on to do Mastodon.
Okay.
So it's all the collectors out there. Once you're into a fucking band, I'm this way. If I'm into a band, I do my digging, find out what the other members are doing, and check out all that shit. If I'm into that, then I'll dig into those fucking rabbit holes, and that's how you get 700 CDs, dude.
That's so true. I got a friend in Scotland. He's got close to 10,000 CDs.
That's insane, dude. So he's got to have a room just specifically for that.
Well, it's funny. His bedroom's got CDs. His attic space in his parents' house has CDs, and every single Iron Maiden album on vinyl.
Badass, dude.
Including all the side tracks and all that other stuff.
I respect it. It's like people nowadays are just like, what it's taking up space in your house and all this kind of shit. And it's just like, well, one, it's not your house, it's not in my way at my house, and also just like, who cares if you could stack up all this stuff on a hard drive? Like, this is what we like. We grew up, this actually makes me, that's what it is. We're getting older, and what it is, going back in time. And
Yep.
that's a little bit of a comfort. Like, going through the pandemic definitely made me like have a resurgence of shit that I was into as a child, playing cards and fucking pirate coins and shit like that. And like all that type of stuff. I got all back into that shit again during the pandemic. And now I haven't bought a CD in a while. I'm more so looking at fucking playing cards and shit.
I can't even tell you the last time I bought a CD was, but the last band that I actually reviewed was called Volcano Diving Incorporated.
Okay.
They're kind of like Psycho Stick, System of a Down, a little bit like Tenacious D in a way.
Nice. So some humor in there.
Yeah, humor metal, I guess you could call it.
Nice.
Yeah, they crack me up.
So Underground Noise, how long you been doing that?
Since 2009.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I took a
was
break.
Was it ever a physical thing, or was it always online?
I actually interviewed Lee Harrison from Monstrosity in person at the Lost Horizon in Syracuse, New York, July 6th.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
That same year. And it's weird because I shut it down for a couple of years because I had a mental breakdown. But then I brought it back just recently, and I said, I want to keep doing this stuff, see what the fuck else I can do.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Well, this is a good time to do it. That's the same reason why we started it. Like, everybody's got more time, and it's just fun to talk to. It's super cool to be able to talk to musicians that you looked up to, or musicians that you respect, about their craft and other shit. It's like totally just a bro down.
Absolutely, man. It's a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, the podcast actually started almost on, not really by accident, but like we didn't have the plan for it to be what it is now. When we started, I wasn't officially involved. I was the first guest. I was the pilot episode. It was Joseph. Okay. Yeah, it was Joseph and Casey. And we might, like, for the year anniversary or something, put that episode back up. It was up there for a little bit, but as soon as we put up the first Deeds episode, we pulled that other episode off just because now after that episode that we did, they just liked I've known Casey for years. That was my first time meeting Joseph, actually. Was that first? No, not meeting. I've talked to him online and shit every now and then, but like complete face-to-face over Zoom, had a chat. That was my first time with Joseph. So this podcast actually brought me and Joseph real close, real quick. We've had like a fast track to close friendom over the last, 10 months or whatever we've been doing this. But yeah, so chemistry was good. They decided, hey, you want to come on and just fucking host this thing? And I was like, yeah, dude, I had fun. Let's try and keep this thing going. And I had just been talking to the Deeds guys just a couple weeks before that about the new record, because I did a track. I did some guest vocals on Ascension Vortex is the name of the song. Yeah, me, Obi, and Bill are all on the song together, and Obi Flett and Bill Robinson. And
Bill,
yeah, he's got all the highs in that song, I think. But yeah, so I had been freshly in touch with them, talking about that. It was getting ready to come out, and I'm like, dude, we're starting this fucking podcast thing. Your album's dropping in December. Like, let's fucking do it. That's called Cali Death Podcast. Who's the fucking leaders of this shit? Deeds of Flesh, dude. So fucking let's kick it off right with the fucking Kings. And then the next episode was Decrepit, because they're obviously still our homies, and we love those guys. So they decided they agreed to come on, and Joel wanted to come on just as kind of like, hey, it's the odious guys and the decrepit guys on one show. I'm in both those bands. You guys got to put me on there too. And then after that, again, it was so much fun with Joel. We were like, dude, let's round this thing out to 4 hosts and fucking you come back and hang out every week with us too, Joel. And that's how it's been ever since, you know?
Has there been a moment while you're on stage or while on tour that you found to be life-threatening or maybe embarrassing?
Life-threatening would definitely pop up right away. I don't necessarily think there hasn't been like anybody who's tried to attack or other than like stay away from that fucked up cord over there, you're gonna get electrocuted. but
Yeah.
Embarrassing, I mean, yeah, there's times where I've been speaking in between songs and said some stupid shit and probably got embarrassed by that, but I'll call Odious out right now. I mean, people already know about it. If they went, there was 800 people at that show and whatever. We played Maryland Death Fest 2008 or 9, I can't remember. And we train wrecked a song. We train wrecked Caverns of Reason. It was a song that we hadn't been rehearsing as much as we should. We kind of just went out like, oh, we'll get it out, dude. We play that song all the time. And not taking into account that the sound was terrible on stage. Nobody can hear anybody. And that song is very technical. So if the guitar player can't hear the drummer, vice versa, it's not going to work out well. And we got to a point where we couldn't save it, and we just completely stopped playing in the middle of the song. So like I said, 800 people out there staring at you, and you're just like, oh, apologizing, like, oh, we haven't rehearsed it. And then I'm thinking, like, if I was a guy in the crowd, I'd be like, well, why are you playing it if you didn't really rehearse that song? But you're young and fucking you make mistakes. And after we kind of, scattered as soon as that set was over, because we didn't even try and play the song again. We just moved on with the set, which I don't know. I probably would have tried to give it another go. But anyways, yeah, dude, that's probably the most embarrassing thing, is to train wreck a song in front of a crowd that's there to see you.
Well, going back to that show that we were talking about at the Penny Arcade, I was going to let you know that they shut down that venue, actually.
Really? During what, COVID, or was it before that?
It was way before that. I found out that they were serving alcohol to minors.
Shit. Yeah.
It's like, way to go, you dingbats.
Yeah, that'll get you, dude.
And it was funny because Vile was supposed to play at that show, and I was asking the guys in Decrepit Birth, I think it was Matt Sotelo or Bill Robinson. He's like, yeah, fuck work, hate your job. Vile's a bunch of pussies. They dropped off. Fuck them.
They didn't drop off. I think that something happened. That's kind of hazy, but no, they finished out that tour with us. Maybe they missed that gig for some internal reasons or whatever. And maybe somebody said some shit like, oh no, we're off the tour. And then later on realized they didn't really want that to happen. They're like, okay, we'll come back. I don't know. That's me just speculating, because I don't even remember. But I guess, wow, that's crazy. And that's the thing about going back that long in time and all the cannabis that I've smoked since then, making everything hazy. So I forgot that Vile didn't even play that show.
It's actually really interesting, because I'm going to show you some pictures real quick. Here's one of me with Mike Hamilton from that show.
Nice, dude.
And then I got some more from that one. Let's see what I got here. This is my old photo album that
That's so funny. I got one too. I got one of those for Maryland before I played. I went as a fan. I was actually at the first Maryland Death Fest.
Oh, wow.
2003. Yeah, I still got my ticket.
Nice. I have never been to Maryland Death Fest, and I've always wanted to go. But here's a picture of Casey.
Hell yeah. Look at that hair, Casey.
It's like, come on, dude, grow it back. And you do some windmills on the drums.
Yeah, he had it growing for a little bit, but he just chopped it off pretty recently.
Yeah, he looks totally different. Reminds me of a little kid a little bit. No offense, Casey, you're awesome. You're one of my idols, but still. You look
he's a handsome fella.
A handsome Jack, he is. Yeah, here's a picture of him with Decrepit Birth because he was playing with you guys that night and Decrepit
Yeah,
Birth.
double duty that whole tour, dude. That's fucking insane, right?
I'm like, how the hell can you manage two bands? But there they are.
Sick, dude.
Yeah,
Rocking shit.
huh?
I was gonna say
Sorry.
Casey's rocking a carnivore shirt. Am I?
Yeah,
Are my
that's what it
eyes?
looks like.
Yeah, nice, dude.
And the guy that was standing next to me, that's using his left hand for the horns, I found out that he's a pedophile.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, that's is that Mike?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like,
He's serving his time.
well, good. He deserves it. You know,
Yep.
he doesn't deserve any credit in my book. If you're going to be like that, you're really.
And he doesn't get any credit. He didn't contribute to that band at all, other than just being a guy that played the rhythm guitar, you know. And then obviously, once you figure out, you know, somebody is totally fucking a monster and a great fucking actor, that obviously we did. The system distanced him from us, so it's all good.
Oh, absolutely. And it was weird because I was told about that like a year later after the show. And I'm thinking, why would you be in a band if you're going to be acting like that? You know?
Yeah, that will sociopathic behavior, dude. You can be a chameleon, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously somebody who's capable of doing something like that can detach from any kind of human connection, you know?
Yeah. It made me lose a lot of respect for him. Basically, all of it.
All of it. All
Yeah,
of it. He's actually a guy that is the guy who remains nameless. We don't even say his name in our circle anymore.
Yeah. I won't ever mention it again after tonight.
Yeah, that's all good. Please don't. He doesn't need any anybody's brain energy wasted on him, for sure.
Yeah. I'll definitely spend more time with you guys because you guys kick ass.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers. I'll drink a sip out of my soda. You got coffee?
Coffee. Yeah, I've been doing the sober thing for almost three weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks today, actually.
Oh wow.
It's obviously it's not gonna last, but it's a good way for me to drop some poundage, dude. I was trying to knock off my COVID-19 pounds.
Yeah. I call it happy weight.
Well, that's like one of the things that we got into during, well, we've always been into it, but just like cooking and shit, just making killer food around the house like all the time, because we're at, you know, my family, I worked every day still during the pandemic because I'm an automotive, so everybody still needs their cars. So, but my kids and my wife were just home, so it'd be like food all the time, dude, and drinking beers and all this kind of shit, and end up finding out that you're fucking 20 pounds overweight, or 20 pounds more than you were the last time you weighed yourself because you didn't really pay attention, you know?
Yeah, that does happen.
You're like, oh, the scale's broken, it's fine. And then you're finally like, well, I need to get a new one. You get a new one. You're like, oh shit. No idea. I was 190 something. I thought I was still in the 180s.
Yeah, I'm up there too. So, and I'm only
Yeah.
at 5'9", so it's like, okay, I need to put some weight away.
Yeah, but so it's been working out good though.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. How do your kids feel about you being in death metal?
Yeah, they like it. They like it.
Yeah.
They definitely, it's like I mean, it's more of a novelty thing to them. They don't listen to much death metal. There's certain types of metal that I know gets through to them though. It's definitely the more catchier metal stuff.
Right.
Or like power metal is a thing that my oldest is actually kind of into, because it always makes him feel like he's going into battle and shit. So he can have his fucking imagination run wild with Rhapsody going, thinking there's dragons in the sky and all that kind of shit.
Shields and stuff.
Yeah, but if I put on even if I put on Odious, I know it wears them thin pretty quick. It's just, I talk about it all the time on the Cali Death podcast. We get software upgrades with the new bands that we come across in these new styles of music throughout our life, you know, and you don't realize it, but when it clicks, when everybody's like, I listened to that album and it didn't click with me until that point. Well, it's because your software upgrade was complete. Now you can take in what it is and actually absorb it. So it's like you throw odious mortem at a 10-year-old child that really only knows how to rock out to Pantera and Metallica, it's not going to compute, you know?
Right.
And the younger ones are like, oh, that's your voice, Dad? That's kind of scary, you know? But they're like five, they were like 4-3 the last, or no, 4. Yeah. No, sorry. Fuck. 5-3. But it's still like for a few little seconds of me playing the music, they get it. And then they're just like, okay, let's move on. That band recently that we had on Alluvial, my son digs that band and they get fucking down, dude.
Yeah.
Have you listened to that new album, Sarcoma?
I'm not even familiar with the band itself.
Alluvial, dude. Look back at it's within the last 10 episodes, I think. We did an episode with their vocalist Kev and their guitar player Wes. And dude, that band fucking rules, dude. Please go check that shit out. It is every fucking song on that is a banger. And it was a pleasure to talk to them too, because they're super fucking cool dudes. Kev's totally East Coast, fucking extrovert, outspoken type dude. So we had some laughs. But yeah, the band itself, the Alluvial Sarcoma. Check that fucking album out, dude.
I will.
It'll get your head fucking banging for sure.
Yeah, as soon as I hear the whole album, I'll let you know how I feel about it.
Nice, dude.
Absolutely.
Be a cool thing to see a review or something. You do album reviews, right?
Yeah, I do them here on my computer. Basically, what I do is I just type it out, and then I read it, and I hold up the album and tell everybody what the title tracks are and stuff like that.
Dude. Do you do this in audio form too? Do you put it out in audio form?
I wish I did, but I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I just prefer video.
Mm-hmm. That's all good. Most people do actually. Casey didn't even listen to podcasts at all. All of his podcasts he just watches on YouTube and shit. Me, it's good for me to be able to listen to a podcast because I can have one ear in and just do my work at work. I'm wrenching on cars all day. I could still have a podcast or some music going in one ear.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, like SoundCloud, I think is the way you start out with that or something like that. I think SoundCloud account, and then you can link your RSS feed to it or whatever. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to fucking parrot whatever I've heard Casey and Joel talk about at one point.
Yeah, I talk to Joel every now and again here on Facebook.
Oh, right on. Yeah,
that's cool.
Another good dude. No, these guys are my fucking brothers. I've known shit. We got to be creeping up on almost 20 years being friends, dude.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely, because I say 2002 or 3 is when I met them.
Oh, wow.
If I'm not mistaken. Maybe 2004. Either way, 17 years is fucking a long time.
It really is.
And yeah, it's like you get your friends, you know how they talk, they know how you talk, you can have a natural conversation. It's like, well, why not just record these things? Yeah. We're already doing the same shit we do anyways. Now we're just bringing in new people to talk shit with us.
Absolutely. I think it's great. You guys are doing an amazing job.
Thanks, dude. I really, it's a lot of fun. And I think it is cool that it's as important as it is for some people. I didn't really realize how much some of these musicians hadn't been interviewed before or even in this long form style at all. And there's a lot of times that I hear that listeners are super down with the fact that we're doing this because we're just getting the people that we want to hear from too, Yeah. I mean, getting Dennis from Spawn of Possession is a fucking, I was so happy to get that. And then you get all these fucking gems of tidbits of information that I don't think, I've heard at all about Spawn, like how Dennis doesn't even need a guitar player in the studio with him when he's tracking his drums. He goes in there and tracks with nothing in his ears except for the click, I think. And you're just like, dude, I've never heard of that before. But that's just, you know, a piece of information that is a cool bonus of, and yeah, it's a cool bonus of being able to have a conversation with somebody like that who normally doesn't do interviews. I mean, I think before that, it was like 10 years before that Dennis had been interviewed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The only two albums by Spawn of Possession that I'm familiar with would be Noctambulate and also Cabinet.
Yeah.
Cabinet
all three of them are great, but Cabinet is where it started with me because of that early wave of Unique Leader shit and just coming across all those bands at once. But Cabinet was one of those, and still is one of those beautifully perfect albums to me. I love everything about it. It's raw, yet it's fucking intricate and well mapped out, and it's just a perfect record, dude. There's nothing I can say bad about that record at all.
Another thing that I was going to mention would be the first death metal band that I actually heard was actually Mortification from Australia.
Wow.
Yeah, Christian death metal.
Okay.
My brother came home from the bookstore, says, "Hey, Al, there's a death metal band over at Arrowhead Christian Bookstore." I'm like, Christian death metal? I didn't know how to feel about it at first, right?
Yeah.
So I go to the store, I listen to it, and I'm just listening to this music, and I'm just like, wow, I've never even heard death metal a day in my life. So I'm just like, wow, this is pretty cool. I like it. So a few years later, I'm in high school, right? And this guy that I was friends with, Greg, he's like, dude, what are you listening to? I'm like, Mortification. He's like, that band sucks. Put on some Deicide. I'm like, oh, shit. The exact opposite of Christianity to Satanism. Yep. I'm just like, yep. I like them both, you know, but I like the music aspect of Deicide more.
Dude, if you take the atheist or agnostic approach, it opens up so much. If you take the satanic, because there's actually good Christian metal bands out there. I mean, I couldn't really name a lot of them. I remember Crimson Thorn being a good Christian death metal band too.
Oh, absolutely. I found some of their albums on YouTube when I like unearthed and the other ones that they've
unearthed. Yeah, that's the one, dude. I remember coming across that, and then you read the lyrics and you're just like, oh, these guys are Christian. But their music is just as brutal.
And it's amazing.
And that's what we're in it for, you know?
Yeah. It's funny because I listened to that album, I'm like, wow, this reminds me of like a Christian sounding Dying Fetus.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because they got that deep go, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, how in the world?
I agree. I probably had lumped them in the same category as Fetus as well when I first came across them. Yeah,
it's amazing because I still listen to some of those bands this very day, like Mortification. I listen to their early albums. Their later stuff just went downhill, as far as I know, because I had everything by them. Tourniquet, Deliverance, Sacrament, Vengeance Rising, Crimson Thorn. There's a bunch of them out there. Those are the only ones I can remember right offhand. And Detritus, of course. That's another one.
So to compare Christian metal to satanic metal, is there any militant aspects to Christianity, like trying to fight back against Satan?
Well, that's a good question because Mortification's self-titled album, they have a song called Satan's Doom. And it's all biblical related, and they show all the scriptures from all the, Bible, what's the word, books or chapters or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they basically just talk about how Satan will die in the end, and he's already been dead for so many years. And also there's a song called Terminate Damnation.
Terminate Damnation.
I can still remember some of the lyric. The goes like, the ostentatiousness of Satan, something like that. The ostentatiousness of Satan has descended to the burial ground. Worms and maggots are covering for his corpse, forever eternal without escape. Something like that.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah, I'm like, wow. From 1992, Scrolls of the Megaloth. Amazing album. Musically, great. Vocally, I don't know if he was using effects on his voice, Steve Rowe. but from what I do know, he had leukemia,
Oh shit.
and he made a comeback back in like 1997, 98.
Got through it.
Yeah, I
Nice.
guess.
Good for him, dude.
I guess if you're faithful to God and Jesus, then hey, maybe you'll get a miracle. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess so, right?
Yeah, miracles
Good for
happen
him.
every day.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude.
Other than that, I can't really think of anything else to ask you, Anthony. Do you have any last words for Underground Noise?
Thank you for having me, dude, and I hope you guys keep growing with your shit. Do you do it? Is it just you?
It's just myself.
Okay, so I hope you keep growing with your shit, and yeah, dude. Anybody who hasn't heard of the Cali Death podcast, come over and check it out. We're on YouTube, fucking Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts. Yeah, anywhere you can pretty much find podcasts, dude. I don't think there's anywhere we're not. But yeah, if you want to see us, it's on YouTube, Cali Death Podcast. Search it up, subscribe. We would love that. Subscribe to Underground Noise. Keep fucking metal alive, keep loving it, and have a fucking awesome life, people.
Every day or no way, right?
Exactly, dude. Thank you so much, Andrew.
It's Alex.
Alex.
Yeah, you called me Andrew.
Fuck, my bad, dude.
Tony!
I almost got all the way through it without something fucking up, dude.
I'm gonna start calling you Tony.
Well, thank you, Alex. I may have been talking to my
No problem.
yeah, I was talking either way, dude. I fucked up, my bad.
That's
But
fine.
yeah, thank you so much for fucking doing this with me though, dude.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's been great.
Yeah. Rock on, brother.
Rock and roll.